Alrighty, so this is a short trade I did on CEMI on July 22nd. The main trade I took here was kind of an intraday parabolic slash halt trade, mainly a halt trade where I'm looking for, extension on the daily time frame, and I'm also looking for extension intraday, and I'm just trying to fade an intraday move back to, kind of a support level or, average where I think, maybe the stock would reverse from. So looking at the trade here, this is, before the PR, before the move happened. The 23rd was when I traded it. Actually, not the 22nd. So the 23rd here. So kind of looking at the bigger picture here on the daily chart. It's been downtrending for, quite a bit, couple months, and it's gapping up into areas where people are maybe wanting to, get out. It's not gapping up over these highs where people are thinking they want to hold on to it. It's maybe, it's giving people a chance if they bought anywhere in here to sell out is kind of one of the parts of my thesis for, why this move maybe won't be continuing, but just a small part of it. So yeah, that's one thing is just the gapping up into resistance where there's a lot of, maybe bag holders, people who possibly want to be selling in here versus waiting if it gapped up even higher. So um, gapped up first day, gapped up, around 159%, almost 160% in one day, and then day two it's still up, opening at 140%. So, lots of meat on the move, and it's right here. It's hitting 1,000% of its daily average volume, including this candle. So tons of volume, tons of attention on this, and it's still high in the from where it came from. In 2 days, it's still 140% from where it came from on the open. Um, so then going into the company fundamentals, the catalyst that kind of shot this thing um, was a purchase contract for $28 million to purchase their COVID tests. I think this company makes a lot of testing for diseases, HIV tests as well. So they have a PR here for their COVID test agreement where they're saying it's taking 20 minutes with a minimally invasive nasal swab. And then I just thought it was interesting here how it says, the same technology, DPP rapid test platform, same technology, but it's going to be using blood from the fingertips. So I just thought that was kind of a weird contradiction where it's saying nasal swab and then down here it's saying blood from the fingertips, but I don't think that's really anything to pay attention to too much. More importantly, on this is, they have a lot of ATMs, so I'm just thinking about, how likely is it that this company is going to want to raise money? They do have revenues, but they are net losing. So I'm just wondering, how much cash do they have, and what are they going to do with these ATMs that they filed? So they have an ATM that they've filed, and then this is just then an amendment to the shelf, but this is an ATM for 60 million, um, which has been affected by the SEC, so it is effective. So they can use it if they need to. So then I'm just drilling down into the balance sheet, looking at their cash. So their net loss of Q1 2021 was 4.5 million, and then they used 3.8 million in operating expense. And this is kind of showing you right here. I just have their cash equivalents at the start of 2021, and then I have them at the end of Q1. So in a 3-month period, they've used half their cash on the balance sheet, which is interesting. And then also I was drilling down into this loan agreement they have, and their loan agreement stipulates these kind of two things here. So this I think was annually they needed these revenues, if I'm not mistaken, but this was the most important thing here. They needed to have $3 million of unrestricted cash at all times. That was in this loan agreement, and this is like their biggest loan agreement that they have pretty much used. They've used this entire amount already. So but yeah, this was the big thing here. They needed $3 million of cash, and if they have only 14 million right now, take out 3 million from that, and take out how much cash are they burning per month. Um, so yeah, that was kind of the thought there. Um, so yeah, so right here I kind of have it divided. So this is the monthly burn, cash rate burn if you're using just net loss from Q1, and then this would be just operating expenses. Down here I have months left of cash with current standing, factoring in the loan agreement. So I've got the total cash minus this divided by, or minus the 3 million, right? Divided by this number right here, this monthly number. So 7.3 months as of March 31st, and we're in July. So if they haven't really been able to do much about this, if they're losing, more and more money each month, and we're in July from March, that's 4 to 5 months that this has gone on. So, maybe they only have two to 3 to 4 months, since we're in July, maybe they only have 2 to 4 months. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there is, what are the chances that they want to use part of this ATM? Do they think they're going to have another chance to raise, after this, or are they going to want to use some of this ATM, now or in the next couple days? And I'm kind of just using that thesis to kind of find a good entry point, where, the move is already unsustainable. They put out two PRs, they amended their shelf, days before they put out the PR, and then, they have this big ATM that they might want to use. So that's kind of the overall thesis and the company fundamentals on that. And then going into kind of the trade, more specifically, how I traded it. I originally had a trade down here. This was going for kind of a fade at the open. I think this was 488. Let's see here. Yeah, so originally I had kind of planned to just wait for it to go red on the day and then short it at the, red to green, which is what this was. It didn't end up working out, so I just cut it. Um, and the reason I didn't take any profits down here is just because I'm usually looking for the bigger move. I had my target set lower, and I was just gonna take it off if it wasn't working. But the main trade on this is the halt setup. So these are my executions here. What I'm looking for before I get in the trade is, kind of candle wicks that are showing me, that the selling is starting to overtake the buying, um, and kind of coinciding with volume as well. So down here, I didn't get into this first halt. I just didn't feel right with it. I was kind of trying to see if I could get an entry using my calculator to get a good risk reward, and I couldn't find it. And also, if you can see down here, the volume candles on the down candles is a lot lower, so you're not really seeing that aggressive selling like you are up here, I guess. So that was another thing too, is there might be not that much selling here. Might want to continue to go higher. So I was looking, waiting. I knew I wanted to get in when I just saw this kind of really unsustainable movement. And looking here, you can just see the candles where I'm kind of just thinking about this as maybe like a tug of war rope, where the buyers are pulling the rope, they're getting it up there, and then all of a sudden there's maybe 3 to 4 guys on the other side, just waiting to slam it back down. And that's kind of what this showed me, coinciding with looking at the 1 minute here. This was the second highest volume candle there on the day, and this was also high a day. So this wick kind of showed me maybe this is ending. It's maybe gonna mean revert here in a little bit. And then I was just kind of watching it kind of stall out. The candle, it's getting kind of choppy up here. Um, and just waiting for a good entry, waiting for it to kind of start sliding a bit. Like once I feel like once in the halt trades, once it kind of slides back down, it kind of scares the people that if people were buying here, they might just be weak hands and they might be getting out, right when this kind of cuts. Is kind of what I, usually think if I'm trading these kind of setups, is just really unsustainable movement. And kind of using this volume candle, the wicks, to kind of confirm that. Back to the 5 minutes. So yeah, again, just parabolic, and these wicks are really high, and the volume, it's not as high as this first kind of wick here, but it is still pretty high. And then you see how you have this really big red candle here on the 5 minute with pretty big volume. So that helped me get in. And then my executions again. So yeah, I just got in there. I was risking a little bit over high day, using my risk reward calculator, and then my target was back around here. I just wanted to have my average. My average I wanted to be somewhere around here, and my average, where I was taking profits somewhere around here. So I just took off a little bit to start with, just to get in the money, and then I was holding the rest for the bigger move. So this was my full initial 1R risk here, and then I was adding more as it went in my direction, moving my stop down to keep the risk manageable. Um, and I can just show this part here. So this is what I like to use to just calculate my stop and whatnot, and my target. Just a percentage of my account right now. And then I think on the way down, I was just punching in down here. So I was putting in, I can't remember how much I had, but 100, and then I had maybe some shares up at 7.3. Then I had some more down at 7.1 or whatever, and I was just moving my stop down to keep it within this 1R, and then holding the rest, moving my stop down. That's kind of how I traded it. Definitely a lot to improve on here. Probably could go way bigger on the second add a lot more size. As you can see, kind of from, the 5 minute was showing me, this was straight up and straight back down on the 5 minute. And this was like, this piece right here was just a wick on the 5 minute. So, right here was the wick on the 5 minute. So definitely could have added a lot more there. And also probably could have held more down towards the close. I was kind of, thinking if it is coming back down into this range, it might bounce. We have a lot of people that were buying down here, so maybe if it does come into this range, it could bounce up here. I just didn't want to deal with that. So that's kind of how I thought about the trade. That's it.